Thank you, Mr. Shaikh, for the opportunity to discuss and present one of the very important and key issues in the activities of ICID. That is the recognizing the water and heritage through water World Heritage Irrigation Systems scheme and Water Systems Heritage scheme that we have been having since long at ICID. We have a very wide network across the countries, and presently we have about 78 countries who are active members of the International Commission, and we represent about 90% of the irrigated area of the world. So this gives us a very good spread to understand how the irrigation has developed across the periods of time in various countries and in various areas. Irrigation as a subject has been recognized since long time back. Like even in 371 BC, one of our sages who was a precursor of all the economists of the world also made a statement that agriculture cannot be made solely dependent on rains, as it amounts to gambling with the nature. And he had propagated the use of systematic irrigation. So irrigation has been practiced since a very, very long time in past. And it has been coterminous with the water and human evolution. So we have a significant amount of water heritage in form of the irrigation systems and also in form of the systems of managing those irrigation structures and irrigation facilities. So heritage is not discrete, it's a continuum. Mankind has been learning all the time while implementing the irrigation structures and also implementing the irrigation systems and evolving over a period of time, and we are now in a position to go and evolve to a very large extent. The World Heritage Irrigation Structures Program of ICID, we have a register where we recognize the heritage irrigation structures and collate them and provide them with recognition so that they are in a position to claim their heritage and popularize their heritage to make people understand about the importance of the structure. So the structures which are fulfilling the criteria and based on the recommendation of an international jury of ICID is recognized as World Heritage Irrigation Structure, and we include it in the Register of World Heritage Irrigation Structures Register, which is also going to be available very shortly on our website. A plaque is also provided to the participant heritage irrigation structure, which can then be fixed up on the structure or kept at a prominent place. And the national committees can organize the functions and various other activities for the duly recognizing the structure in their own country. We have currently about 100 registered structures, and more are coming. In fact, sometimes the numbers that have been proposed are being very large. We have tried to keep them in some kind of groups of 4 or 6 each for each country, so that we do not have a very large numbers going in the same year. The criteria is that the structure has to be more than 100 years old. The structures have to fall under one of the categories, like it can be a dam or a barrage or a water storage structures like tanks, and then it has canal systems, old water wheels, old shadow, and various agriculture drainage structures which were built about 100 years and before, and whether they are functioning or they may have an archaeological value. We recognize both of them in a separate category. Any site or structure which is functionally related to present or past agricultural or water management activity and is a successor of a 100-year-old structure is also made part of the scheme. So we have currently, as you can see, the recognition is spread over a very whole swath of the world. Especially we have seen that Japan, China, and Iran and various other countries have taken very keen interest in getting their structures recognized and getting them put on the heritage irrigation structures map. We some of the structures are very interesting to note. They have evolved with the time, and in some of the structures we see that the modernization has been taking place, and even then we see that some of the basic engineering principles which were there in 3rd century BC and like that are still being used by us, but in a slightly different form. Like for example, we had the sausages which were bound by the bamboo poles and bamboo strips. And now today we do it with a steel wires or polythene wires and like that. But the basic principles remains the same. So this is a very important way of looking at the continuity and also simultaneously looking at the use of the water that has been persisting since that periods of time. In some of the structures, the original constructors are now being revered as deities, and their temples are there. People are offering.
Could you please finish in 1 minute?
Yeah. Okay. And then we have another World Water Systems Heritage scheme, in which we try to recognize the schemes which have been there for the water management systems, and these systems are also of great importance of looking at the experience in the managing at the societal level a very scarce resource like water. We have got a special criteria for that also, and in that criteria we have started recognizing the structures. We have a few systems that have already been recognized, but there are more that are needed. We are also looking at the various historical developments of the irrigation in case of the various basins like say Indus Basin or Danube Valley or historical dams. We have been recognizing these structures and highlighting their benefits and their utilities, and thereby promoting the history of irrigation across the world. Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to have been sharing with you our very key schemes and things. Thank you.